All right, everybody, welcome to the podcast. This is me back at it again, your old pal Maiko, the Maicolorian Reno. And with me, as always, since I've been here anyways, is Tom, TW11 Logue. How you doing, Tom?
Doing good. Just so you know, this unit cannot be captured. Initiating self-destruct.
I've been on a little bit of a hiatus here. Been on a bit of a sabbatical.
Let's segue into that. Great segue. Glad you had that opening for me. Maiko, you've been absent for a little while. What's been going on with you in 2018, 2019?
If I remembered, I would tell you. I was basically in a walking coma for about a year. I was misdiagnosed with depression. Turns out it was a brain tumor and about the size of a thermal detonator, I would say, roughly. Serious business, though. I had it removed and I pretty much was out of it for a whole year. That's to make a short story long or a long story short, however you want to put it. But I've been sick and I haven't been able to record or do much of anything, to be honest with you. I don't remember much from this last year, but I am now back, getting healthy and recovering. So yes. Here we go.
Here we go. So just to clarify, the state of the tumor is now clear. Everything's good.
Well, you never get the entire tumor out, so there's still some bits and pieces of it. I got some follow-up stuff to do. The last sort of remnants is that it affected my vision, so I'm partially blind in my left eye, but my vision's slowly coming back. So I'd positive report for you.
Cool. And what is the code name you're currently going by sometimes? Speaking of your vision.
Yes. Of course, I have to relate everything to comics because I'm a nerd. But Longshot, man. Longshot, as long as his will is good, he's lucky, and I've been very lucky since having a super unlucky year. And also he has the glowing left eye, which
matches
relatable.
You. Yeah. You're lucky, but you still have all 5 fingers. We've already talked about that. No need to sever a finger to be just like Longshot. So you have all 5 digits.
I was thinking it might still happen though because of my vision.
If you're like slicing and dicing a tomato, like chic, might as well make the other hand match now. Chic.
Might as well. Might as well, Might as well go be accurate.
No, I was gonna say, start seeing you with what's that hairstyle that he had?
Mullet.
Mullet. There you go.
Oh, I have no hair right now, so that'd be great.
You can get a wig.
I'm still shaved. Yeah, thinking about it. Get like an 80s rockers wig. That'll do it. Yeah, I also lost my sense of smell and taste, and so I have poor taste now. And
I told you that a long time ago with some of this.
Never had it to begin with. And I can't sing like I used to, unfortunately. I sing worse.
So there was a worse.
You think you hit rock bottom until you have. But yeah, that's it, man. I'm back. I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to be recording, and I'm excited for this episode.
Yeah, I'm very glad to hear that your health is recovering and that everything now makes sense as to, that whole lapse of the walking coma, if you will. Road to recovery, and like you said, having you back and hopefully start doing these like a monthly basis, kind of like a comic, but that's how we started, and then like a little while later we just started doing it every couple of months whenever there was a movie, and then whenever.
Well, it's a bit difficult to watch movies now. I haven't seen the new Star Wars movie because of this, and when I watch The Mandalorian, I have to stand up in front of the TV and just put my nose to it, basically.
So what we're going to talk about, since you've not seen Rise of Skywalker yet, I'll discuss that with Amy. You and I, we're going to talk The Mandalorian.
Oh, man, I have some bold statements about this show.
It better be positive or else we're going to have a lot of disagreeing.
Oh, no, it's all positive, dude.
Okay.
It's positive. I love this show.
Okay.
But I'm just to get it out of the way, there's going to be spoilers in this episode. If you have not seen The Mandalorian, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah,
this
seriously.
Is probably, one of the best shows, I'm going to go ahead and say, man, ever. Really. Yeah. Game of Thrones, Walking Dead early seasons. This is, anything that Marvel has done on Netflix. This is above and beyond exactly what we've been asking for in a Star Wars media, to be honest with you.
Yep. And what I do like is they do make a lot of references and callbacks to the movies without directly going into the movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, they reference the cartoons, they reference the comic books, they reference so many things. Obviously, you could tell some of the Marvel guys have gotten their fingers in this pot because it's just like reference and fan service just left and right. It's beautiful. This is exactly what you and I have been talking about for such a long time.
So one of the things that they kept as a big secret was Baby Yoda. They did not even go to like merchandising people to advertise, hey, Baby Yoda's coming, do you want to make our toys? They didn't want to leak that out at all. This is why currently there is no Baby Yoda merchandise except for fan-made stuff, and most of the stuff that's official is coming out like in February and March.
Wow, so they totally skipped over the holiday season, huh?
They totally skipped over the holiday season. They knew they were not going to be able to do holiday season stuff because they wanted to keep it so under wraps.
Good on them. Wow.
Yeah, it sucks for Amy because that's all Amy wants is like a plush Baby Yoda, or she really wants a real Baby Yoda, but she at least wants a plush Baby Yoda. So,
dude, you're gonna have to be her Baby Yoda.
I try to be. She doesn't love me as much as she loves Baby Yoda.
Don't you have the dog ears? The Yoda dog ears?
The Odin.
Dude, there you go.
Odin Yoda. Let's role play. Yeah, touch me, you will.
Oh man.
Let's talk about some of the characters that were in this, because it does not tie into any Star Wars movies. They are all strictly for this show. Is there anyone you want to talk about first?
Yes. Oh, there's so many. I want to talk about all of them. First off, okay, this is a tough tie for me, right? But I'll throw one out there because I have a feeling that I know who you want to talk about. Cara Dune is one of the best side supporting characters in all of friggin' television, man. Gina Carano, who's the ex-UFC fighter turned actress, is amazing in this show, dude. She goes toe-to-toe with Mando.
Yeah, she's definitely got that presence, right? Where, like, when she says something, and not just because, she is a UFC fighter, but just how she portrays herself, you're like, this is a chick I would not mess with no matter what. And it seems like she got bigger physically, like her arms, from Deadpool to this. I don't know if it's just me, maybe it's weird, maybe I'm weird, but I think she also got much hotter.
Yeah, like, she was very hot.
Something about her
they used her properly, and she does look hot as like sort of like the scruffy, badass, tattooed, guns out soldier. Oh, I just cursed. I'm sorry.
That's what the editing is for later.
Cara Dune is probably Alicia watched the show with me, religiously. And Cara Dune is hands down our favorite character, our favorite side character, or supporting character anyways. She was awesome. Anytime she came out, we'd get excited. I do have one complaint, though, on the episode where, towards the end of the season where he kind of reunites with her, the title card gave it away that she was coming back. And I caught that as I was loading that episode. And although I did get excited, but it was a bit of a spoiler, and shame on the show for that. And there was one other person on the title card, and I don't want to give it away. What do you want to talk about?
I'll talk about all of them, but my favorite by far had to be IG-11.
Yeah, I knew it, dude. I knew that you were going. He was on that title card too, and I saw them both, and I thought, oh man, they're getting the team back together.
Yeah, they're getting the team back together.
Yeah, IG-11, Taika Waititi's amazing. Yes. Amazing. Oh my god.
So when we have him in the first episode, and he's doing that thing where he's like just spinning his upper body and shooting stormtroopers left and right, I'm like, this is freaking amazing. And then it gets to that part where he's like, you know what, you're not so bad for a droid. I was like, cool. Like, IG-11 is going to be that droid that hangs out with Mando and teaches him that, not all droids are bad. And then he goes, I must kill the target. And then he goes, boom, 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 and shoots him. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was so freaking pissed. And then he comes back in that daring rescue with, freaking Baby Yoda on his chest. And I love when they start shooting at him, he spins his chest around so Baby Yoda's behind him. And he's like, doo, 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 and he's just shooting everything. I was like, yes! And then there's the scene with the lava, and I was like, are you kidding me? You're just putting me through an emotional roller coaster.
Again.
I can't deal with this.
Again.
Yeah, you can't take him away, give him back, and then take him away again.
Yeah, it was a tie between him and Cara Dune on my favorite characters, because as soon as IG-11 came out the first time in the first episode, I knew this show is going to be good. This show is going to be amazing, because it's just he even managed to give him a bit of a sense of, like, a dry sense of humor, which is friggin' impressive, man. When he's trying to detonate himself, self-destruct himself.
Do not self-destruct. We're going to shoot our way out of here.
And then bum me out that Mando shot him, because they were sort of building a little bit of a relationship. They had a kind of good cop, cop, bad cop kind of a thing going on with
and
him.
that's what I thought they were going to do. Like, I thought, oh, cool, they are going to keep him. And then it ties into IG-11. But for that last episode, what was your favorite moment?
Okay, so personally, geez, it's tough. But I think when the leader of the Mandalorians, basically told Mando that he is now the father of Baby Yoda, and that was his foundling. That kind of hit me in a soft spot from my personal experience. So I was like, oh, dude, he's going to be his dad. That's kind of cool. He has to adopt him.
Well, I can see how that ties. My favorite scene has to deal with IG-11 and not him self-destructing. It references back to the 2 biker scouts.
Waiting for confirmation to continue into town. That's a go to proceed, but I advise you to double check. The Moff just touched down and already took out a squad of local troopers. Standing by.
Did he just say that Gideon killed his own men?
Oh, who knows? These guys like to lay down the law when they first arrive in a town, you know. You know how it is. I said, shut up.
What is that thing, anyway?
I don't know. Maybe Moff wants to eat it. I don't ask questions.
Can I see it?
Did you not just hear that Moff Gideon killed a dozen of his own troopers just to make a point?
Okay.
I get that point. Do you get the point?
Yes, I get the point.
Okay.
Should we offer that thing some water?
You just want to look at it.
So what? You got to see it.
Barely. I mean, I grabbed it up off the ground and I stuffed it in this sack.
It's more than I got to see it.
Look, I'm not taking it out of this bag until I deliver it to the Moff.
Fine.
Okay. Stop asking. Check on this thing. This is crazy. Any update yet?
That's a negative. Still waiting on confirmation. He just killed an officer for interrupting him, so this might take a while.
Thank you. Standing by still. Great. Unbelievable.
Hey, how long has it been since that thing moved?
I don't know, like a minute or two. Don't worry.
It's been way longer than a minute.
Oh, my God.
Shouldn't we check and see if it's still alive? You hit it pretty hard.
You just want to see it.
Well, we should check and see if it's hurt. The last thing that you want is to give Gideon a bag and have him open it up and find whatever is left.
Okay, look. Here you go. See? Take a peek. Everything's fine.
What is that?
I don't know. It's a pet or something.
A pet?
Ow! Serves you right.
Oh my God, dude. I was laughing so hard.
Yes.
That one biker scout's like, it hasn't moved in a while. He's like, you just want to see it. Do you not get it that the commander just killed an officer? Do you not get it? Because I get it.
I get it. But still, though.
And then he fights him, he punches him. Oh my God.
There were a couple of dummies. That's exactly what I wanted to see, man. Some life, personality. That's cool.
Yes, exactly. With the biker scouts. And I love when they're shooting at the canister that's like, I don't know, like 10 feet away. They're missing. They're like,
they couldn't hit it.
Yeah, he shakes his like laser gun. Like he's like, I don't know. And then they do it to IG-11 when he approaches. They go to shoot him, and it shoots at his feet.
Oh, it's so good, dude. Oh,
yeah, so
not to get too much off where you were going to, but the scene with the ragtag team, and they're talking to Bill Burr, who was basically an Imperial sharpshooter, and he was, Mando kind of scoffs at him. He goes, "I wasn't a friggin' stormtrooper. I can shoot." But anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I loved that scene on the last episode. I mean, like I watched it, and then I rewatched it to watch just that scene again. And that one was ironically directed by what's his name, the guy who plays IG-11,
Taika Waititi.
It did remind me of Thor Ragnarok. So that's what it reminded me very much of, is that funny, snappy dialogue. And I was like, that makes sense because of who it was directed by.
Yeah, no way he directed that last episode. I did not know that. You know what also was a good scene on that last episode was the interaction again between IG-11 and Mando, when Mando said, is trying to heal him, and Mando doesn't want to take the helmet off, and IG, he says, "I can never take it off in front of a human being or a living being." Oh, and he's like, "Well, last I checked, I'm not alive."
And so about that scene, the one thing I wish they would have done is, as he's taking the helmet off, pan behind IG-88, so we actually don't get to see his face. But we see IG-88 take it off and then set it down, and we're like, well, so he took off his helmet. IG-88 gets to see him, but we don't get to see him.
IG-11.
IG-11. God damn it. IG-88's the one. Sorry.
He's the OG.
Yeah, he's OG IG.
Did you catch that Boba Fett actually came out in one of the episodes?
So that's what they say, but a lot of those dudes look like Boba Fett, you know what I mean? When someone was like, Boba Fett's in this episode, and they show a screenshot, and he's got that like antenna thing that is very, the Boba Fett thing on his helmet. But then they showed like 4 other Mandalorians with that little antenna pointing that way. And I was like, that could have been anyone. But what I do think is, you remember the Mandalorian who opens up the thing and takes him out and then flies away with him? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I think that's Boba Fett.
You think so?
Because the reason I think that is, you remember the armorer says, you know what, Baby Yoda is yours until you either unite it with its family or you just adopt it. Basically, he's going to adopt that thing. And then you remember when the Mandalorian thinks he's dying, he takes off that necklace and gives it away. And then he gets it back and he looks at it in his hand and goes, oh, I never thought I would have seen this again. That's Boba Fett's symbol.
Well, that's all the Mandalorian symbol. That's the creature that the Mandalore defeated, right?
The Credo Dragon thing. And
Yeah.
that's what I would have thought. But then why did Mando get the Mudhorn symbol? I think they each get their own symbol.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So I think that might have been Boba Fett who actually took him out. So
I was hoping it would be something a little more obvious like that, or like a Jedi saved him or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I was okay with a bunch of, Mandalorian commando squad coming to save him. That was pretty cool. But if you think that's Boba Fett, that's an interesting take.
Yeah, I mean, that's my take, because we've always believed that symbol was the Mandalorian symbol. But I feel like that episode where she's like, you finally earned your symbol, and she makes that Mudhorn symbol, I was like, oh, if that necklace is basically Boba Fett's symbol and not the Mandalorian symbol, that would mean that Boba Fett is the one who took him out, which would be an interesting kind of concept, that it was Boba Fett who trained him, which is why he's so good at what he does. So
he's real good. You know what I appreciate about the Mandalore is, I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but I appreciate characters that can take a licking, right? Spider-Man's one of them. Wolverine's one of them. Just like uniform just trashed, mask half ripped off, just nose bleeding, lip bleeding, just like, honestly, it's like Captain America in the movies. Like, I could do this all day. Yeah. And Mandalore takes a beating over and over and over, man. He takes a licking. This is the way. So which was your favorite episode, man?
I think I would go between either the first or the last.
Oh, wow. Bookends, yeah?
Yeah, because the first, right, we don't know anything about the show yet. We know he's a Mandalorian. But then we get that scene where he goes in for the one guy, and then, that one dude tries to run out the door, and he and then pulls him halfway, cuts him in half, and I was like, I love this show. That was the moment where I was like, I'm all in. Like, from here out, I am all in. We have the last episode where we get that bookend where, as you said, the team is back together. You see that Mando is like, I'm not going to let you die. He basically tells IG-11, I'm not going to let you sacrifice yourself. So you see this like human moment where this dude who does not like droids is like, no, there's got to be a better way. You know what I mean? And so you see that caring that Mando has. And you have Cara Dune. You have that moment that you get confirmation that Quill died and stuff like that. Yeah. So there's like so much that happens on that bookend. That first one just caught me by surprise. So it's like when you have that first favorite movie or that first book, it may not be the best one, but it's the one that sticks with you.
This has MCU written all over it, man. Like, the first Iron Man was like, oh, wow, they're doing it right.
Yep.
First Mandalorian, I had the exact same reaction. I thought, man, they're doing it right. And then even the worst, what you would consider, I don't think there's a bad episode in the whole lot, but what people would consider to be the worst episode is still an amazing episode, right? Like, even the worst episodes are still good, much like the MCU. Even what people consider the worst movies still aren't that bad. They're not terrible.
Let's take a step back. Iron Man 3.
That was rough. That's
a horrible movie.
So a lot of people had a problem with the ragtag team episode, right, where he meets up with his old crew and they go to try to rescue the Twi'lek's brother. A lot of people had a problem with that, but I saw that and I thought, man, this really reminds me of an 80s movie of like Alien, where it's just like this ragtag team of scientists on a spaceship, and they all have like very unique personalities and very animated, and that's exactly how I saw this episode. And I was like, whoever directed this, which I think it was one of the directors of the Clone Wars animated series, really grew up watching 80s movies, man, because this had 80s movies written all over it. So even at the end, speaking of Alien, Mando kind of turns into almost like a horror show, a horror movie when the lights go red when it goes dark in ship, and he's hunting down Bill Burr's character, and he kind of becomes the alien a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
So,
Go ahead. Who did you have a problem with?
I'm going to tell you right now because you brought that episode up. The actress Natalia Tina, Tena, she plays Zan. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. Xian, Xi''an. How would you pronounce that?
Yeah,
Zan?
I would say Xian. I mean, it's like I'm trying to go Chinese with it, but she's probably not Chinese. I would guess.
So we'll just say Xian because you're usually right when it comes to pronunciations, and I'm usually wrong. I could not stand her character, and the reason for me is I felt like she was overacting. I felt like she thought she was in Interview with a Vampire versus actually being a Twilight. Like, I can't count how many times she would like hiss and then lick her teeth like she's a vampire. Yeah. Like, she did it a lot. Like, every time she'd walk by, she's like, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I get not every Twi'lek is supposed to be Twi'lek. How do you pronounce it? Twi'lek. Them too. Yeah. Twi'lek. So I get not all of them are supposed to be like super sexy and stuff like that, and I'm cool with that. I would have been fine if she was like this rough, tough rogue chick, but she didn't need to be hissing and licking her teeth in every single shot. I felt like she was trying to hold up her fangs like they were coming out, so they're like I don't know. A little ratchet. Yeah, she was the only one I couldn't get behind. And it's funny because when we first saw the preview of The Mandalorian, and we see her walk and then she kind of like looks back and winks, I was like, yeah, she looks like a cool character. And then she turns out to be the single character I don't like.
I always have a problem with like you had a problem with Elektra, and was it just Elektra? Is that who I'm relating this to?
Yeah. Yes, it's the Elektra thing from Daredevil.
So it's that whole thing where I thought she was fine. She was kind of hot a little bit.
Sure, if you like freaking Interview with a Vampire.
I do, actually. That was a pretty good movie.
I would say like she was the only character that I had a problem with. Is there anyone you had a problem with? Like someone that just
absolutely? Oh yes. In the show, in general?
Yeah.
So the episode where they're hunting him and the guy that's trying to be a member, Toro, I think was his name. He was trying to join the Bounty Hunters Guild, and they were hunting the assassin. That dude was just a waste of space, man. He was just not a cool character. Like, seemed like a waste.
Yeah, Toro Calican.
Yes, there you go, Toro Calican. And it sucks because I'm a Taurus and I relate to like bulls and stuff. And it's like, this guy, get out of here.
About that episode. So they go after that sniper, and I'm hoping they address it in season 2. At the end, someone goes and picks her up.
Yeah, that's it's not the Inquisitor. That's the dude with the Darksaber at the end, right?
I don't know. We never see him because we just see feet.
I think it was him. Who else could it be?
That's what I'm saying. We don't get to see it, so I'm kind of curious as to who it is.
I would put my money on that dude.
So you think it's Moff Gideon?
Yes, Moff Gideon.
He always plays bad guys too. Like, as soon as he showed up, I was like, yeah, he's a bad guy.
I don't know who the actor is.
The actor is I'm gonna slaughter that name. Giancarlo Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito.
He's in like Breaking Bad. He's in the Maze Runner series also.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen it.
All right. Have not. That was probably my least favorite episode, I think. But dude, how awesome was the standoff, the episode with the standoff against the Bounty Hunters Guild back on their, on the Bounty Hunter planet.
Yeah.
And all the Mandalorians show up. Like, you guys are so dude. I honestly stood up on that episode and just was like cheering, dude, like fists in the air, like, yeah, here they come. I was kind of sad that, the rest of the Mandalorians didn't come out like for the rest of the show. I thought for sure, like, all right, cat's out of the bag, Mandalorians are out, but they all went back into hiding. And I think most of them got killed, which sucks.
Yeah, it looks like some of them definitely got killed. I do like, I guess she's just known as the Armorer, the chick who makes all the symbols and stuff for the Mandalorians. I did like that scene where, I think it's in the final one, where they're trying to escape down the river thing, and she's just sitting there at her forge, and the stormtroopers come around her, and she just breaks some necks with her tools, man.
Yes. She's awesome. I'm glad we got to see her like in action.
Like, show off. Yes.
Yep.
The scenes where she's just like sludging a dude in the face and they slow-mo like his like faceplate just shattering. I was like, they just know how to do this. Like these dudes are nailing it at every corner.
Yeah, dude, there were so many good episodes. This is such a good show. I'm gonna make another bold statement here, and I don't think this. Not only is this one of the best shows that I've ever seen on any channel or service or whatever, but I think this is the best Star Wars story story, better than the original trilogy, definitely better than the prequel. And I haven't seen the latest one, but definitely better than 7 and 8 as far as I've seen. This is it, man. This is a good story here.
I agree.
What?
No, hold on. I agree it's better than the prequels and the current. I don't know if it beats the originals, but that could be that thing that I talked about earlier, where you have that one that basically influenced you so much that you hold it up on this pedestal, and that might be why. But I've held the original trilogy in such high regard and so many like inspiring things for me that I feel like I'd be betraying it if I said, yeah, it's as good or better.
No, I get it. There's definitely nostalgia, holds a big piece to that. But I don't know, the way I really, I mean, I do watch the original trilogy with a lot of nostalgia. But if I'm trying to introduce someone to Star Wars, I think I would show them The Mandalorian first, and then be like, okay, remember all those scenes? Now we're gonna go back in time and we're gonna see where they came from. But The Mandalorian is just, man, it's a piece of art, dude.
And the cast is so good too, because Carl Weathers as Grief Karga, like the dude who hands out the bounties. Dude, when they're trapped with Moff Gideon and all his stormtroopers inside that thing, and they're like, finding a way out would be really great now, and he just starts drinking like, yeah, we're done for. He's so cool. I'm glad because there was that scene, it's the Mandalorian scene when they all show up, where he gets shot, and I was like, dude, they're just killing everyone they introduce. But then that thing was there, the I forgot what the metal's called that they use for the armor.
I wanted to say Valerian steel.
That's what saved him, and I'm glad that saved him, because I actually really liked his character.
Yeah, he turned out all right. I didn't really like him at first. He seemed a little skeezy, but
he's supposed to be.
The camp scene where Baby Yoda saves him was pretty cool, when he kind of has a change of heart a little bit. Yeah. And he knows that there's something special there, like, all right, and he didn't betray him, and in that same episode where they went to go meet was he a senator, a general.
I did think that was kind of weird in that episode that you're just talking about, where Baby Yoda heals him, where they stop in the middle of the night in the desert, knowing that there's these freaking poisonous things that just fly by, and all that they have to do is hit you and you're pretty much as good as dead. You know what I mean? They flew away with those, what are they called, burgles or whatever? Bergs?
The 2-footed dewbacks?
Yeah, that's what I was describing as, the 2-footed dewbacks. They picked them up and flew away with those, and I was thinking, I think if that was me, I would keep pushing myself to get out of the desert and find cover. I wouldn't want to rest in the open with a campfire with these freaking things flying around at night. Like, hey, what's that over there? Yeah. It was very much like that Vin Diesel movie, Pitch Black.
Pitch Black.
You know what I mean?
Oh, such a good movie.
Yeah, it was kind of like Pitch Black. Like, you're in the dark, you light a fire, they're going to come for you. You're just basically giving a beacon light. Because it's a desert. Yeah. It's not like there's trees that are going to obscure the light. You're a freaking beacon.
Yeah, pretty much. You're just a sitting flare. I did feel bad for Quill, though, because he lost his mounts, man. He was really proud of those guys. He was really attached to them. Dude, but let's talk about Baby Yoda possibly becoming a Mandalorian.
Have you seen the art where it's like, this is the way, and it's him in the Mandalorian armor?
No, I have not. You have to share that. Shouldn't it say the way this is? Or is that just strictly a Yoda thing? All right, so one last thing I kind of want to talk about is the Darksaber.
Okay.
Oh, have you looked up this thing?
No.
Okay. So the Darksaber was crafted by a Mandalorian turned Jedi. He's the first Mandalorian to become a Jedi. And his name is Tar Vizsla, I believe it was.
Oh, okay.
The tribe that he came from eventually came back and attacked the Jedi and defeated Tar. And it stayed with the Vizsla clan. But the Mandalorian named Pre-Vizsla took it from him. And so Mandalorians took the Darksaber back, and they actually used it to defeat several Jedi. And the saber was just really badass. Eventually, somehow, Darth Maul came into possession of it. A lot of it's covered in the Clone Wars animated series. That's where most of this information comes from. Somehow, it ended up in the hands of Moff Gideon. So this is one of those things that the show does so well, is they're taking stuff from the Old Republic, from the Clone Wars, from the comics, and then bringing it into real life or, live action TV. Yeah. Which I think is friggin' amazing.
Yeah, it's that fan service that you talked about. Like, for people like me who I've been watching Rebels on Disney Plus. So, but I'm only on I'm halfway through like the first season, but I've not watched Clone Wars or anything like that. So for me, I just saw a Darksaber and I was like, that's pretty cool. But for someone else who is more familiar with that, that's like freaking amazing moment. They brought in the Darksaber. You know what I mean? There's people who get that reference.
Absolutely. And it's such a weapon that has so much lore behind it and so much history behind it that it's not something that, usually we would take lightly. Now you have this Moff with a Darksaber, with all the Mandalorian and Jedi history behind it. I was waiting the entire show to see a lightsaber, right? Because that's just me. And you finally get one, and not only is it a lightsaber, it's like one of the lightsabers in the history of lightsabers. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is really cool. I had no idea about that.
I'm watching Rebels too. Rebels is a really good show.
Yeah, I really like Rebels so far.
Yes. Blind Jedis. Yeah, I'm in. Got a soft spot for him. I'm not sure if that's a spoiler, but probably
it is. But that's all right. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the show's only been out for a couple of years.
Yeah. Right. All right, man. So my headsets are dying here.
All right.
I think this is where I have to phase out.
Yeah, we did a good amount of coverage. I mean, we covered what we liked, what we didn't like, most of the characters that are worth mentioning. So it's a good spot. We'll call it for now.
Nice. So I'd just like to cut back in. Just thank you and Amy for taking over the show and keeping it going and keep doing the work that you do on the Facebook page, on the Instagram page, and on the website. I really appreciate it, man. And I love you guys, and I'm really glad to have you guys in my life. You guys are the best. And I'm glad to be back and hope to be more involved.
Yeah, love you too, man. I'm glad everything is better now. So
yes, getting better still. This is the way.
This is the way I have spoken.
All right, man. Until next time.
Until next time, sir.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Comic Relief Podcast. You can find us at comicreliefpodcast.com, or you can go to facebook.com/Comic Relief Podcast, or you can find us on Twitter at twitter.com/Comic Relief C, or you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/Comic Relief Podcast. If you enjoyed the music at the beginning of this podcast, please visit Taylor Davis's website. She did the cover of the song. You can go to her website at taylordavisviolin.com. You can visit her YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/violin-tay, Tay. Please go visit her website, visit her YouTube page, subscribe,